Huh? No, we should go in there.
Oh, no. Why is it being weird?
Oh. Oh, it feels so good. No one yet?
Once.
One. One. Well then. Only one. There can only be one. There could only be
You guys, as soon as you get in
one.
and ask your questions, the more likely it is to be answered during the live. So as soon as you come into the chat, ask your questions.
Send them in the chat.
No. Hi, Eric.
Eric who?
Seagull. Yeah.
Eric, what's up, man?
He always makes it.
Ask him how his ask him if he can hear me.
Yeah, he can hear.
How'd your did you do the meet yet, or when did you meet?
Hello. What are you doing, Johnny?
I'm just loosening my hip up a bit. I haven't trained to yet, but I gotta do like mobility on my hip anyway. So I just move it around.
Eric says bombed out.
Bombed out.
Mm-hmm.
Like bombed out, like tried your lift and didn't get it. That's still good. Assuming. Oh. All right. Questions, y'all. How many people in there?
39.
39? I put a thing out early enough, so.
Any advice for someone who doesn't like tracking macros?
Track calories. And you'll kind of like have to track macros-ish, because like your macros, some of your macros is your calories, or your calories made up by your macros. So like, you know, every gram of protein, 4 grams, blah, 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 4. So if anything, just like do your calories. If you're, make sure you're eating the proper amount of calories, and then like come close to eating enough, you know, protein and whatnot. But like I think when people say they track macros, people track macros like almost it's really confusing and really annoying. I look at the entire, here's your caloric intake, here's your protein, and when you're tracking your calories, I look at like, you know, your protein from your protein. So if at the end of your day you have like protein that's whatever, and then throughout the day you're like tracking, man, I had my peanut butter had 2 grams of protein, right? I look at like the majority of your protein being for your protein, and then like really just paying attention to that. And then, you know, if I go over by a few, it's not a big deal. Same with like your protein, your fats, and your carbs, same thing. So don't try and like count every tiny little macro. Just count like the, you know, just it's because it's not that exact at all. This is one big like estimate. Like it's give you an idea. It's 1 gram of protein gives you 4 calories. It's actually like 1 gram of protein is like 5.85 or something like that calories, right? Same with like protein. I mean, fat. Fat is more than like 9. And then your carbs is like, yeah, it's 4 grams, but when it's your, you know, fiber is like 7-ish gram calories per gram. So it's not this exact thing where if I eat, you know, X amount of calories and I go over by like 10, it's ruined everything. So.
Back squat or belt squat for glutes?
They both work great for glutes. I think to get a little more out of it, go a little harder, without worrying about like, you know, the bar and whatnot, belt squat's perfect, 100%.
Hey, Johnny, what is the correct way to face a Smith machine? Also, is there any difference between angled Smith machines and straight Smith machines?
There is. Let's see if someone's on the machine, but there is a right way. What's annoying is that most gyms put the damn thing in the wrong way, which is so annoying. Some of them Smith machine. But, so your Smith machine,
Might be
you
done.
should be able to go like, you want to be able to unrack, and then rack, right, like this, right? So you don't want to have to rack and have to put your arm back like this. So when you get into the Smith machine, you done?
I think so.
Money. Done? Perfect. There you go. I know.
Have to clean.
Oh yeah, sure. Nice guy. Wait till he comes. Please answer the question before.
Okay, so we are going to answer this Smith machine. How many sets of chest exercises do you do each week?
Do I usually do?
It just says do you do each week?
Do I do each week?
Yeah.
I do. I would say 12 a week.
What's recommended?
What's recommended?
Yeah.
It's like really just depends, to be honest. But like you want to train the muscle groups twice a week. If you train twice a week and you're quoted basically like 3 to 12 hard sets a day per muscle group. So if you're looking at 3 to 12 hard sets, you're looking at between like up to 24 sets total. Do you have to go that far? No. You can probably get away with just doing honestly like 16 hard sets a week if you're doing both muscle groups. So anyway,
Smith machine.
so your Smith machine should be in here, facing the mirror. So when you unrack the bar, you unrack like this. Look, see what happened? It's made that way naturally, so it rolls onto that hard part of your hand. So when you do this and unrack, all of a sudden now that nice meaty part of your hand's there, and we push from there, right? You don't want to be the opposite way because that's just not safe. Think about this, naturally, you got a bunch of weight on, and then you got to go like this, right? So I unrack like this, and then have to kind of adjust my hands if I have to, and then do it, and then when I'm done, this is not natural. So yeah, that's what you do.
And the difference between angle and straight.
So angle and straight, basically, this is like they're both in fixed positions, but this is gonna go right on top of the muscle that you're, targeting. So like this, I'm here doing chest. I'm not gonna go on the entire bench, but I'm doing chest, and I'll move down for it. I just don't want to move this bench. All right. So right here, when I push this bar, the way the bar goes, no matter what, it's gonna go right back down on my chest. If it's on an angle, depending on the angle, it's either gonna go like kind of this way or kind of that way. The problem with that is just like the way it's making you push, right? Where if here I'm stacking the joint up underneath the weight the entire time, if I have to push on an angle and make me push a little differently, nothing crazy to be honest. But like if anything, I would have it pushing away from me. So I would lie in a angled Smith where it was pushing this way, right? And then when I'm doing like the opposite way, if we're doing like, which is really annoying, when you do bent over barbell rows or RDLs, you have to, I'll show you really. I'll put you on this side, but if you have an angled machine and the machine angles this way, you have to like literally line up right on it. If it's the opposite way, same thing, but you want to be close as heck to the bar. So if it does go out this way, you're so close to it, because if you're too far back, you end up doing this stuff and it sucks, right? So you have to really hug the bar when you're doing, bent over. This doesn't go that far down, wow. But either way, you got to hug the bar, like get close as much as you need to it when you're doing like RDLs or bent over rows.
I've lost 20 pounds to attempt. What is it? I've lost 20 pounds to attempt to develop abs a bit. I believe I'm going at it wrong due to not eating for hours. And any tips on how to stay with the progression with eating?
Okay, you're not getting lean because like you lost 20 pounds?
He lost 20 pounds to see his abs, and I think, I'm trying to decipher. I think he's saying how to stay with his progress by eating more, I think.
Okay,
Because he's
so
going hours on end without eating.
yeah, so
Any
like
tips? Yeah.
we got to figure out why you're doing that. Number one, like why are we not eating for hours on end? You want to get at least 3 to 5 servings of protein throughout the day. So if you're missing hours of not eating, we're going into a place where we can be a little bit catabolic, basically your body, feeding off its own muscle and whatnot. So I would just adjust that, make sure we're eating enough protein, or sorry, just like your calories, spread them throughout the day. Find out why you're not eating. Now, if you like fasting religious purposes, cool. Okay, we got to figure that out. That's temporary for that meaning time of your fast. But if it's not, then really it's not that optimal to do it. So what else? That's the only thing I say right now because that's just like there's so much more to say with that.
Is protein powder good for you?
Yes.
Is it true that when your back muscles start to develop, it's hard to touch your back with your hands?
Only if you don't stretch on the way. So when you're adding all the muscle, it is a complete lie that when you add muscle, you lose your mobility. You only lose your mobility when you add muscle and you don't stretch, right? So I know, Dallas Carver, he used to do splits on stage. He was like $3 bills, so could Ronnie Coleman. So just stretch.
Simple Man just says he appreciates you and he was pretty lean and ripped following your workouts, but he's recovering from a car accident right
nice.
now, fractured L3 disc and torn labrum and shoulder, but he's making a comeback. So
Awesome, yeah.
shows appreciation.
Keep me up, man. Let me know if you're on Instagram, tag me in some of your posts so I can keep up with you.
Are push-ups and bodyweight pull-ups between push and pull days okay?
Between push and pull days, is that for just to keep up your volume? Because let's just put it this way, if I have a really good day of back and chest on one day, I'm gonna probably want to rest and not train my chest the next day. So what is the purpose? I think the biggest thing is what is the purpose? Those are the questions you got to ask me, guys. Is this okay? Here's the reason I'm doing it. Because here's the reason why I'm saying that. If you're coming to me and ask me a question, and your question actually doesn't have a solution to what you were trying to do, then you're just doing things without really even thinking things through. So if you have a question, I'm not shitting you guys. I'm saying if you say hey man, I'm doing pull-ups and push-ups in between my chest days because I want to keep a little more volume and keep the pump on it, and or I do calisthenics. I want to make sure that I'm continuing to keep my blah blah blah. I'd be like, okay, cool, and we go from there. So
I don't have the pec deck machine for rear delt, only cables and dumbbells, and I'm already doing rear delt flies with cables. Do you have another great exercise for rear delts?
okay, so here's a couple of things. I'll show you a bunch of things anyway. Let's start with dumbbells. Let's do dumbbells first.
Sorry. Give me a sweater.
Let's go rear delts for dumbbells. He said it only does dumbbells and only does cable.
Only has dumbbell and cables, doesn't have pec deck machine.
So he wants me to show him a bunch of different ones.
Yeah. What's another great exercise?
Other than there's so many variations.
Other than cable flies or cable, rear delt.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So before I do this, if you have an exercise that is if we're changing exercise because we're kind of bored, that's fine. Make sure that the exercise make sure it's efficient. But if you have a machine or exercise that you do that's the only thing you got, but it's epic, there's no need to change it. At all. You don't have to change anything. Either way, let's do a couple different dumbbell exercises. All right. First of all, we have bent over dumbbell, hinging back, right? Arms out, chest here, and then we're flying out, right? We're trying our best not to pinch here at the start. We're painting the sides of the room, right? And we want to get here. Now, the limiting factor here is eventually, I'm probably not going to want to hold myself like this, right? So we can switch that up by just sitting down. Same idea, right? But I want you to come in the front. I want you to be doing this. The proper way to do this is setting it up so you're not doing it wrong. I want you to like pull, like tighten your core and like fold over top of your legs, right? Tighten your core. I want you to like tighten it. Don't suck it in. I want you to like push it like you're having, like you gotta take a shit. Like you got a little bit left over, you can't get it out. You're like, ugh, right? You don't breathe in. You push it out. So we're gonna push it out, right? And we're gonna push our feet back so my butt goes back. See what my butt does? So I want to be like this, right? So I'm like tight here. I want my legs to be in close, right? Now my lats are kind of engaged a bit, and I'm here. Now I'm just gonna push out again, and I'm gonna try and like paint. I'm gonna paint the sides of the room. I'm even going long and far out. And the top I can retract my scabs. If I'm out, and we just like float it this way. We can do it this way, or do the same thing that now this way. You can go a little heavier, get a deeper contraction at the top this way. Go too, right? And this way I'm going pronated, right? I'm not going hammer. You can switch this grip, hammer, pronated, right? And then one arm. Whoop. Here, over top, and then push out, right? Big stretch. I'm kind of stretching a bit here. As soon as I go over here, I got a massive stretch on my delt, and I'm pulling with the back of my wrist. Sorry, the blade of my hand, but I'm tapping into my elbow. The elbow and my blade of my hand are the same. From there. And I like putting the weight here on my hand so I can feel that right away. Tension. Do the same thing here. We can do the same thing back this way, but for doing chest support, get a little more tension. Get a lighter dumbbell for sure. But we're gonna go like, you can do like Y's, right? Apart from T's. But here, keeping up and wiping out. Like that. Or back this way. There's a ton of exercises you got right there for you.
And any other ones on cable besides rear delt flex?
Well, one and yeah, cables. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What? Oh fuck. Someone's on this. Is he on this?
I don't think so.
Here. Okay. So here's a couple I like. Hinge. We're letting it stretch from here, hand on hip, and we're pushing out and letting it pull you out. Right, I'm not doing this. I'm letting it pull me, I'm reaching away, and then I'm painting the wall again. You can see my delt is getting dominated from here. Out this way. We can go back a bit, the angle there, right? We can pull it up. This is what I like to do a lot, actually. It's just stretching here. So my right delt is on fire.
Why don't you switch arms?
I don't want to.
Okay.
It feels so good. Let's actually switch.
Yeah.
So from here, right, cable's here. I'm gonna grab the cable like on the hand here, on the little ball part, and I'm gonna twist away. See my body? I'm gonna twist like this. So I got a crazy stretch on it already. And then keep my chest up, so I'm not gonna be like this. I'm not playing the violin. I got space between my shoulders and my ear, right? Come this way, you can see a little more of the delt. And from here, I'm connecting this delt muscle here with this elbow here, connecting to the back of my blade in my hand here. And that's where I'm feeling the pull come from. And I'm pinning all the way out from here. Right? Or I'll put up a little higher, same idea, and I'll pull down. And I'll stretch, and pull. Stretch, right? I'm pulling this thing out. My delt, I'm feeling my delt touch every little fiber of this. Nothing's in my tricep, nothing's in my traps, Nothing's in my hand. Everything here is just connecting to back. Now we do the same things two-handed too. So you get right in the middle of the two-tower pulley, and you can do the same thing. Double, double, double. Bam! Or some face pulls.
I was gonna say,
There's a face pulls now too.
Yeah, yeah.
Holy crap! All right, so, and I'll give you the differences too. All right. So from low to high is delts. Low to high is delts because my arm's just doing this, right? But it's pulling from the bottom. So we're getting low to high. We're getting lateral head of my delts. We're also getting the rear head of my delts. We're also getting a little bit of traps as well too, pulling from here, right? Upper trap. I go here in the middle, same muscle groups, but now a little more mid trap, right? Because this pinch, my mid traps pinch down, they don't pinch up. My mid traps depress my shoulder blades. So mid trap, even we're going like this, same thing, rear delts, lateral headed delts, traps, rhomboids. Bring it to the top. Now I bring a little bit of the back in there as well too. So I'm getting a tiny bit, not a lot, of lats. But, right, rear delts, lateral head delts, mid traps, and a little bit of lats as well too.
What's
Tiny
the difference between pulling there and pulling up higher?
I just told you.
No,
Or
no,
pulling
your
the hands.
Yes, hands.
It just puts more force onto your lateral head of your delt because you're externally rotating. Right, so if you look at my elbow, my delt here, the only way I can put pressure on this part of my delt is if there's weight pulling me down from here. Right now, for me to make that happen, I gotta pull my arm this way. So now it's forcing me to pull here. So I'm working this as well too, and it's just extending the anchor point, I would say, or it just gets right here. It's not bad. Like pretty light here. The second I do this, it makes it that much harder. Right? My delts are working even more.
Thank you. Can you take those things? It's not nice to hurt. Is supplementing with collagen necessary?
Say again?
Is supplementing with collagen necessary?
Very. And sorry, it's not necessary, but it's a great thing to add for sure. Don't break the bank for it. If you're eating proper, if you're doing your best, make sure you're eating some good whole foods. At least like 80% of your diet's from good source of food, you're fine. But if you got some extra flow and you want to, add that extra little bit of, yeah, for sure do it. Which
do you recommend, Smith machine bench press or free weight bench press?
Smith.
And
Just because I have more control. There's that. For me, it's not even like necessarily like the fear factor or the safety factor in this. Is the fact that I can really, really push my limit in the Smith machine without worrying about what's going to happen when the bar can't go up. Right? That's basically it.
Question, if you technically are overweight by textbook standards, do you need as much protein to build muscle, or can your body use the excess fat?
Yeah. I mean, like, I get what you're saying, like, because I've had some clients who are, 300 pounds plus. I'm not going to give them 300 grams of protein, right? So kind of look at like, but also like, what is their lean body mass, like lean tissue? And if you kind of get that variable, you can kind of guesstimate that way. But I would say, like, if he's like 300 pounds, look at somebody here on like 250 grams of protein, right? And then, because eventually, like, they're going to want to get down to 250. And by the time they're probably down to 250, their lean muscle mass has probably went up a bit, we'll say, within a year. And then we continue to keep going down. And then, yeah, the lower we get, the more protein we don't really need. So, yeah, that answers your question for sure.
Hi, Johnny. Question. Is there a safe way to do upright row on the Smith machine? Thanks for your time and expertise. I believe it's being used right now.
Damn.
We'll have to go back to that one.
There's a very safe way. I don't understand how it wouldn't be safe. Or just like the proper technique. Because like when you're in there upright row, and like your only way you're not safe is if you like, I've done it before, I hit myself in the chin, pulling this thing up before. Maybe you're talking about that. Maybe you hit yourself in the chin, and you're like, maybe someone else hit themselves in the chin too. And that might be the safe way. So yes, there's a way to do it without hitting yourself in the chin.
I have trouble retracting shoulders when doing presses. Any advice?
Oh, yeah. When he's doing shoulders?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
No, no, no. No.
Bench.
Yeah, retracting shoulders when presses.
When he's doing
Oh,
presses.
like bench press or like shoulder press or
Yeah.
yeah.
All right,
Let
let
us
me know.
know what you mean
Let me know, 'cause
about
that
those presses
means-
in the comments. I'll keep checking.
That means
Question on rear delt. Okay. Second question on rear delt exercises: how to develop mind muscle connection to rear delt.
let's go. Super simple.
Go.
Simple.
Go.
All right. Okay, cool. So
Where do you?
come here, close.
Okay.
So I want you to really like try this right now. I'll find a desk, a doorway, whatever. I want you to, make a nice like let your arm go straight. Then we're gonna flex our arm. Like I'm flexing my arm, my bicep, my tricep being flexed. So now my arm's kind of like one, right? And then I'm gonna make a fist. I'm gonna flex that too, right? But I'm not gonna flex it hard. I'm just gonna flex it like light enough, okay? Now I'm gonna go into here, and I want you to take the blade of your hand, right? And I want you to push it. I want you to push with this part of your hand, and I want you to feel this part of your hand being controlled by this part of your elbow, like your elbow is pushing. So I'm really doing this, right? So we're gonna connect this to this, starting with here. So I'm gonna push on it. You see my chest up, and I'm just gonna push. You see my delts is moving, right? I'm gonna push a little harder. Right now, I want to push from this, right? And do the same thing from here. If I do the same thing, take my hand like this, put it out, put it across here, and just do this. Now, you will see my tricep move because the only thing stopping my tricep from basically fully extending is this. But from here, I can feel this. And all I'm doing is pressing the back of the blade of my hand into this, but this is actually an extension of this. And that's why most people can't feel the muscle they're using because we don't tap into understanding that your shoulder, your delts, your chest, your back move this entire bone. The only thing that moves this part of your bone here, of your arm, is your bicep and your tricep. It just does this, and it does this. The rest of your body, the rest of your torso moves this entire thing here. So a lot of times we're trying to pull with our hands or pulling with a lot of things. So we want to tap into here and just literally do this. Do that right now for me and tell me if it works. Tell me if it works. Before this thing's done, you got 30 minutes. I want to know. I'm just really curious because I think about that all the time. You do the same thing in a doorway with delts. Same thing. You go like this, and you just press in the back of your hand. And all you do is press the back of your hand, you'll feel your delt. And then you just kind of press it a little longer, keep it there, and just kind of tap into feeling your delt, which is actually causing the contraction, being sent down to pulling your elbow up. Right? I want to know.
How's the Turk Builder study / test going?
Oh,
Looking
yes,
forward
guys.
to the video drop.
Yes. Cool. So we're going to start filming that tomorrow. I got it in last week. I messaged Greg. I'm like, Eagle has landed. I put together, and this is going to be a video series because I put together like exactly how I'm going to do this to make sure it's done properly. So the first one, I'm going to have the first video will be me with the actual product. I'm going to read off the label. I'm going to everything you know about it, and then the next progression of how this is going to go. So getting blood work done, getting my body fat, taking pictures, weight and whatnot, all that. And then after that, there's going to be a actual strength assessment. So I'm going to do a strength assessment on my pressing, the things that I can do right now. Right, it's going to be a 10 rep max of a pressing movement, a pulling movement, and a I was gonna do because I can't really deadlift right now, so I'm gonna do leg press, and then because I don't want to back squat, I'm gonna do pendulum squat. So I'm gonna do those 10 rep max of that, and then throughout the month I'll do updates like that, and then at the last day we'll do the same strength assessment again, and then go through this again and see where I'm at, and I'll have like a in between the final video as well too. So that'll be pretty cool. I'm legit like I'm not no bars. I'm gonna if this stuff works. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, you're gonna know straight up.
Do you think overarching your back in your bench press is cheating yourself?
No, well, no. So if you're a power lifter and you're doing it, no. If you're not a power lifter and you're over excessively doing it, then yes. And then then you don't need to, right? No, arching your back is fine. Like this is great. This is gonna overall it's gonna lengthen the bottom contraction here. So like if I do this, right, you can see how much less I get here than doing this. Now to properly elevate my chest, it's gonna create a natural curvature in my back. Your lower back doesn't have to be like completely arched. That's when it's like, right? So your lower back should have like a natural arch from you naturally doing this. But if you're pulling yourself up so much that some of your tailbone's off the bench, then like, yeah, it's unnecessary. Then you probably just end up hurting yourself. He talks so loud.
What? What did you say?
He talks so loud.
I know.
He's like right there. He's right in front of him. As close as we are, that's how close they are. He's
And I
yelling.
feel like I'm yelling at you. Okay, I do full body workouts. Is this okay? My workouts are Monday and Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would assume.
Well, this says Monday and Friday.
He said, how many, is it full body? Oh, so full body only
body
2
workout.
days a week.
I think it's only 2 days a week. It says Monday and Friday.
Yeah,
not Monday
like,
through
look,
Friday.
you can, now, there's a couple answers I can give to that, right? If you've been training for a while and then now you're training like 2 times a week, even, that's awesome because you can literally do that and sustain whatever gains you've made thus far. And you would literally hold that in like almost indefinitely if you're just going back to that. Now, if you're starting there on your journey, great. When it comes to muscle gain, just make sure your program is done in a way where you can actually, get the most you can out of it. Because like having those days in between is a lot. But it's just, are you doing enough volume and intensity to elicit muscle growth? When you're trying to definitely in the day, I would say you can maximize it more by adding one more day in there, or if anything, maybe like I don't know. You could do like, Monday, Wednesday, and not Friday. I would put him a little closer. But yeah.
I'm really trap dominant. How can I make it more rear delt focused? So taking traps out of it.
Is this the same guy?
No,
The
different
delts?
guy. I think
So
different
delt, I gotta do a delt video.
guy. I think he's just asking how to.
Where'd they go?
Not they disappeared just like that. Get your traps not activated anymore. Like stop activating
Okay, so
traps.
easy. So it's not. I shouldn't say easy. Let's just take this exercise for instance. All right, we're gonna do the one arm rear delt fly. Okay.
Thank you, Mike.
Right. So, a couple things. If you're trap dominant, chill out. If you're trap dominant, if you think about if we're doing say like horizontal, like rear delts, right? Your traps aren't being challenged right now, right? So, quick little bit of some anatomy here. Your traps are gonna do this. Your upper traps do this. Your mid traps do this, and your lower traps kind of do this, right? Your mid and lower traps, they depress your shoulder blades, right? And your lats depress your shoulders. So only one part of your trap does this. And we don't want this, right? So if we're standing like this and gravity naturally just puts them down and your hands out like this, then you're forcefully doing this. Like you're making effort to do this. So you have to make effort to do the opposite. And the opposite of doing this is depression of your shoulder. Now how to do that? Just think about just like this. Just raise your chest up. Like get here, and then before you start, get yourself to here. So when you grab, right away you're here, right? You shouldn't have, your shoulder should not be in your ear. So think space from your shoulder to your ear. The only way to do that is by dropping your shoulder. Pull your chest up and be here. It's almost like you're pushing your shoulder down, right? So try that. It's gonna take some time, right? That's a hard thing to do for most people is like keeping the shoulder down while doing a lot of things. Like my shoulder can stay completely down doing anything here because I'm just used to doing it. And I've done, I don't know how many thousands of millions of reps, actually, millions. I've actually did the estimate. So take your time doing it. That's why I actually make a video on why I believe RPE and RIR is absolutely useless at the beginning of your fitness journey, and especially until you learn how to connect to the muscle. Because you can't connect to the muscle. Put it this way, I'm doing rear delt flies, right? And they look like this, right? I'm like, what was your RPE? Man, it was like a 9. Where would you feel it though? In my traps. Okay, how's an RPE for your shoulders? Right? It's just, is it RPE or the RIR based on how uncomfortable you feel in that area? Or is it based on the muscle actually getting fatigued? So if you can't control the muscle that you're targeting, if your form isn't that good, then you should not even worry about RPE or RIR. Work on your tempo, controlling the weight, feeling the muscle, controlling the muscle.
Thanks for the tip, Mike. Just a reminder that tips will expedite your question to the very top of the list. So Mike asks, I had surgery on my ankle as a teen and don't have equal ankle mobility. Is it okay to have a wider stance if it's more comfortable? Thanks in advance. I love your content.
100%. I had actually third-degree sprain on both ankles, football. Should have broke it. Would have been way better. But my ankle mobility was like garbage. You're gonna 100%, especially when you're injured, whatnot, like stuff like that. Adjust it for yourself, whatever is comfortable for you, and you're gonna have the same type of same cues. Right? I'm still gonna, if I'm squatting or whatever, I'm still gonna make sure that I'm lining up my knees over my toes. I'm always gonna do that. But if I have to widen my stance so I can successfully get into a position that's comfortable for my hips to run as they should, 100%, 100%. Just make sure we're not moving our leg and then our knees doing this and then the rest of our body's kind of doing this stuff.
We're elevating for more
What?
movement and squats. I can't do a weekly program due to work commitments. Does it matter that a 5-day split's taken up to a week and a half? So I'll stretch their 5-day workout throughout a week and a half,
So you can't work out.
5 days a week. So he's doing a 5-day split, but he's stretching it over a week and a half. Is that okay?
Hold on. I feel there's an easy solution for this. Can he work out every week?
I think so. It just says he can't do 5 full days every week.
Great. So here's the thing. You don't have to, right? So I train 4 to 5 days a week. When it comes to like your split's gonna be based on how many times you can actually train and then your goals. And then if your goals are, say your goal is to make, to maximize most of the muscle, blah, 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 and you can only go to the gym and you want to go to 5 days, but you only go 4 days, and you only go 4 days, then you program so you can, reach your goals with that split. So don't think you have to be married to a certain split. Splits are just what's available for you and your actual schedule, and that makes it easier to stay on task. Did he answer that or no?
So far he did not answer that, but okay. Where's Dr. Mike?
What?
Where's Dr. Mike? Given only one choice, best middle delt exercise?
Middle delt? Lateral.
Lateral?
What's the best one?
Yeah, I'd say lateral delt, yes.
I'm biased. I'm always like, even more than the machine. I'm a huge fan of, I love doing single arm lateral raise with
I knew he was going to say
the
that.
cables. And let me show you why. Because I enjoy them. And my one arm is better than my other right now.
We're using your left arm?
Nah, maybe if I get my shoulder bigger, it'll take all the tension off my small right bicep. Okay, so the reason why I like doing these is that, like, number one, like, I feel like I can connect, and I connect with everything very, very well, but I connect way better single arm with lateral head. And doing them here and just push, and it's like, I just really like it because I have complete control over this. I get a great stretch rate from the bottom. Everything's connected through the top. I'm pushing out and I can feel my delt working, right? And I can stretch and, so this for me is an awesome exercise because, like, the best thing about this is like progressive overload is so easy because this is like 5 pounds, right? Just to make it like clear, this would be equivalent to a 20-pound dumbbell. Like that's still same form, but right, like I'd be good for a working set here, and like 15 reps with this will be just absolutely amazing, like a great pump from here, right? So exercise-wise, full range of motion, easy to do, connect to it. Progressive overload is the easiest thing to do.
great Q&A today. Do you recommend drop sets? If so, which exercises and how often do you do them?
So drop sets for me, if in a perfect world, I'm gonna usually do drop sets with like all pin loaded stuff. Really, that's it. Like it's an easy way to put it. If you're on any pin loaded machine and you're right there and like, oh, look at that, the pin load's here, right? And we're doing curls, right? And I'm doing, and it's like, 20, go right back down and, easy. If I'm doing like rows, same thing, I'm here, then I'm like, all right, done, click. So mostly all pin-loaded selectorized machines, I would do it. Because if you look at like, like I'm not gonna, and especially like the ones that have like, the stimulus to fatigue ratio does occur too when you're doing like, drop sets. If I'm doing pendulum squats, I'm doing drop set of pendulum squats, like by myself, like literally, you put your all into this. So you're doing like, I don't know, how many reps, 10, 15, and you're like, oh, and you get off and you gotta be like, put that down and more effort to get back in here and then do it, right? Same with this, it's like, same with like leg press or like bench press. You've done your set and you gotta put it back and then get off and take off the plate. It just you're wasting so much more energy when you can do selectorized machine. It's super simple to basically just like click, 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 click. And most selectorized machines are, for the most part, are your accessory type stuff. Like they're not your compound movements.
How long does it take to generally build muscle? I've been at it for 3 years and seeing gains, but just curious to know.
So as a newbie, in a year, you should be able to gain around 25-ish pounds. And then it slows down considerably after that. So if you're in your third year of training and you've already put on, now if you've put on your 20 pounds of muscle, here's another thing too. If you haven't put on your 20 pounds of muscle in your newbie gains yet, you still have more to put on. So you can naturally put on around like 5 to 10 pounds of muscle a year. That's if all the boxes are checked. Protein, calories, sleep, water, training stimulus, obviously, and doing that over and over and over and over and over again. Training the most you can, right? Like, so if you're training 3 times a week, you're not going to gain 10 pounds of muscle in a year. Like, going back to my other buddy, that makes a big difference. Like, if anything, your split will make the biggest difference in terms of like how much muscle you'll gain in a year. So if I train 3 times a week, I'm not gaining, and you could possibly gain 10 pounds a year naturally. If I'm training 3 times a week, I'm not gaining 10 pounds in a year. If you're doing 6 days a week, probably, right? So, right, and that's just obvious. Like the more you do it, the more volume, the better overall.
You go grab your stuff.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not. I'm all good here. No, I'm good.
You all done?
Yeah, I just left my stuff here.
No
I'm just
problem.
hogging stuff,
Thanks, Johnny. I've made a lot of progress taking your advice. Are dimples on the outside of the pec by the armpits natural? Are there any movements that will provide a more full look? So I'm guessing like divots.
Oh yeah, I used to
In
have that.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's all chest, bud. So like that's why I like doing. That's why I'm a huge fan. Since I've started bodybuilding, that was my main thing to change, and I had this divot here and this divot here. So everything was 15 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree. My shoulder press would be like a very, very high incline. So, front delts do them 100%. Front raises, cable front raises are fucking dope. Even dumbbell front raises are great. Inclines, like I just said. Yeah.
Compound?
That will get this, right? If I do this, right? But if you look at the muscle that's there, this is my chest and my front delt cover that area.
Compound or isolate exercises for skinny people going to the gym to put on mass? And what are some examples of compound lifts? I say this is a new lifter.
So compound movements are like, they're like your big threes, right? Your deadlifts. Your compound is basically like entire body's working, right? So this is like, this is a compound, right? This would be a compound. You on here? I was showing. This is a compound movement. If I was even if I was doing in the machine, this
Oh fuck.
is a compound movement, right? A push-up, a pull-up's almost considered a compound movement. So yeah, for sure, I would say adding. Do you have to deadlift? No, but you can dead. Here's the thing: you can deadlift if you're doing deadlifting primarily for like hypertrophy, which is great because it keeps you like without being with your ego and I never did anything less than like 5 reps for deadlifts. Um, so I was doing like more. So if you can add deadlifts in there, which is great. Deadlifts, bench press, incline, squatting for sure. I would say 100%. I think that's where you need to start. I feel like that's like all exercises stem from those 3 exercises if you think about it, right? So just get those down, learn those, and then once you're strong with those, and I would say like do some machines for sure to start as well, adding those things in, but then gradually progress at being better at all of it.
Are you on the juice?
No, no, you said who's that? That's fine. Yeah, no, I'm not on 0. This is I say the whole thing. All right, so I stopped doing steroids in October 2021. I've been off of everything since then, all things, steroids, pro-hormones, peptides, SARMs, glue, whatever, I don't know, glucagons, I didn't name other ones. Anything that you can't get from a Canadian supplement store.
I'm just laughing because that's like a regular question answered.
And like, it's good.
Yes.
I don't mind. I actually like, to be honest, I've been told to be on steroids my entire life. What?
How tall are you? 6'1"? Dude
Imagine.
looks tall.
Imagine.
It's 5'7".
I'm not even gonna say it.
5'7".
5'8".
5'7.5".
No, 5'8".
Johnny Masters
If
Olympia
I was
2025.
5'7.5", I would do classic.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, I can't make it.
Masters Olympia 2025, yes or no?
Okay, so they came out with it. It's in Tokyo. It's in Tokyo. Like that's a. I've been to Japan. I've been to Jakarta, Asia. I have not been to Tokyo. But like that's
on
not
my
a
list.
place to go when you compete. Like, I'm not saying it'll be amazing. I'd love to go to Tokyo. But like if I'm going to Tokyo, I'm going there for 3 weeks. And that's like 3 weeks I'm in Tokyo. That's a 24-hour trip.
Yeah, but it's Tokyo.
It's Tokyo. I'm in Canada. That's 24 hours. I did that already and it was a nightmare. An absolute nightmare. We'll see. We will see. We'll see what it has to make sense. It has to make sense for my sponsor. It has to make sense for me. And it all comes down to like money, to be honest. Like it has to make sense to me to go all the way over there. Like, and I wouldn't compete to not win. Like, you fucking kidding me? Sorry. 100% I would. But again, like winning, what will it do to my career? Right? What is it gonna make? Am I gonna get more clients? Will I get more clients doing that show, or will just naturally doing what you should do as a business person get more clients? You know what I mean? Like, so I love competing though. It's got this mad itch. It's Tokyo. Damn it! I'm thinking out loud now. It's enough.
My left shoulder kills me when I do shoulder press impingement. What can I do to fix that? I just feel doctors are dumb and nowadays to fix you.
So here's some really easy answers. If you can't work out on shoulders and it hurts that much, go see, not a doctor, go see a physiotherapist, get some imaging done. Do not fuck with your shoulders, sorry. Don't. I hurt my shoulder 20 years ago, and it's still an issue for me, right? So you don't wanna if it's not in a bad place right now and it's like at the point where you can get some work done and just all you can do is rest right now, I recommend just resting, because when your shoulder's done, though, good luck. If you're cool with getting past or going through the off of the gym time, possible surgery, that whole mental thing of not training, and if you can handle that, then go fuck a shoulder up. But just don't. I'm dead serious, don't. If your shoulder doesn't hurt and it's like something that's like on like a 3, then you probably have to get some like massage therapy done. I would go get some massage therapy done, make sure you're stretching, work on your mobility, get that stuff done, and then like continue to train, but never train. When your body's way of talking to you, it does it through a lot of different things. The easy one is pain, right? If you're getting pain, it's your body being like, yo, over here, something's wrong. Don't do anything. And you keep doing something, he's like, guys, turn the sensors up more. Like, they're not figuring it out. And then they turn up more, and turn up more means you rip something even more in there, right? So Everything's in a cartoon analogy in my brain. It is.
I believe that. When
Oh,
doing
by
a
the way, I went and looked at prices for Tokyo. It's if you got in the pods, 10 G's. Economy, premium economy, 5 G's. That's one way. Anyway,
I will start saving.
anyway.
When doing a workout, do you have a preference of what order you want to go in, as in what machines you want to use first and what machines do you want to use last for that particular body workout?
Cool. I go in the gym prioritizing what I'm trying to target and what I'm gonna do the best. You know, like, and it'll be very like gym. The gym's gonna have a big part of that, right? So if I'm going to do legs, and I want to maximize, you know, my quads, yada yada yada, I'm gonna go do pendulum squat first, right? I'm gonna work my way down. Right now, sorry, I'm not gonna do pendulum first. I'm gonna do hamstring curls first, and then I'll do pendulum. I like to warm my body up first, doing hamstring curls, then go. But I also use a deep, you know, incline or, you know, lying hamstring curl as well too. So when it comes to chest, I'm gonna look at like, okay, what's gonna be the best thing for me to get chest in here, getting a good stretch? What's the best piece of equipment they have here for that? And then I'll go from there. If that makes sense.
Hey Johnny, how much protein can your body absorb in one sitting? Keep the great content going. Thanks.
Man, I don't know off by heart at all. I don't know off by heart, but I can tell you one thing: protein absorption is like. That's why sometimes like BCAAs are kind of like, eh. I forget what it was, but I think it was either protein shake, like, you know, protein powder. It takes, I think, like something like, it's like either 4 or 8 grams every 4 hours or something like that. Like, that's how long it takes for you to, like, for protein to actually go and absorb. And it's not absorption, but not like absorb and actually be used, right? So I forget the number, but it's like a long. How much, I don't really know exactly how much at once. I don't. I can't answer that. That's an easy ChatGPT answer there.
Do you think motocross is good cardio?
Motocross?
Yeah.
Yes. Who's a motocross? I hope you do motocross. Not being like, you know, I don't feel like doing the treadmill today. I'm gonna go get myself a fucking. I'm gonna get myself a gas. You know, kill myself quick. You know.
Don't say that.
No, but I know how much being on my bike is cardio.
Have you started your Turk Builder experiment? If not, what plans are? Yes.
I haven't started it yet. I just got it. I explained earlier. You just probably dropped it in. That's totally fine. I'll say it again because that means no one else heard. I have it right now. We're doing like a actual series on it. The first episode will be me with the actual product, talking about the product, explaining it, and then giving you guys the breakdown of what's going to happen. Basically, first episode is going to be, you know, what I'm actually going to do to start prepping for this. Not prepping, but I'm gonna get my blood work done. I'm gonna get my body fat done. I'm gonna get like pictures, like you know, pictures of my entire body. Some other markers right there, and then, measurements. And then the next video will be a strength assessment. So I'm gonna do a 10 rep max for pendulum squat, because I can't deadlift and squat really, but like squat, but either way. 10 rep max of pendulum squat, 10 rep max of leg press, 10 rep max of a push, and 10 rep max of a pull. And then I'll have some videos in between them. And at the end of the month, we'll actually do like this strength assessment again to see where I'm at, and then everything else, and see, you know, if I have the basically what I'm gonna find out is, am I gonna put on more, like, is it giving me the ability to train harder, put on more muscle, yada yada yada. I'm not gonna eat any more calories. I'm gonna eat the same amount of calories I'm eating, so I'm not gonna add calories. That's not fair at all. I'm not training any more. I'm not taking anything. I've actually not been taking my creatine, so that's another thing too. So the only supplement I will be actually using is Turk Builder. So yeah.
I love RDLs, but I struggle to progressively overload. When I go too heavy, I stop feeling it in my glutes and my hams, and I start to feel it, in my low back. Same for good mornings. Recommendations?
Easy. And Matt Jansen got me onto this a while ago, especially with RDLs. Don't go heavy. My hamstrings fucking grew, and they're already growing. Like, my hamstrings are like pretty strong, but they dropped when I took the load down and then really focused on, like, here's the thing you need to focus on. When you're going down, you need to feel this redonkulous stretch, like right here. Like you need to feel it here. Like that is so tight. And then from here, and then like the back to here, feels like it's aching. And then you're using that, like the elastic, to pull yourself and like not pull up hard, but like feel that and then like contract it while coming up. I swear to God, man, like don't go heavy with those. You don't have to go heavy. Like it's think of your biceps. Just because it's massive doesn't mean it has to be trained like that. Think of like bicep. The best I get from bicep curling or whatever exercises is like from a lighter weight, like a control, right? And your hamstring is the bicep of the femoris. So there you go.
Just an appreciation. I really appreciate your videos on different terms. It was good to have non-BS advice. And one says, didn't know you were Canadian. What's that? A boot. It's about, actually.
About.
About.
About. I say about. I don't say a boot. I don't ever say a boot.
I've never said that.
Never said a boot.
About.
It's about.
About. Okay. That is far for the master. Yes, it is. I'm 54, dropped from 305 to 205 following you. Thanks for sharing with us. That's incredible, man.
Nice. Hell yeah. Good for you, man.
I can still.
Love that.
Can I still gain muscle at the age of 40?
100%.
I'm 42.
Here's another here's a good way you can tell that. And this is why I kind of when I go through pictures with my clients and stuff. I'll give you an example. I had a client that had like a gap in between their shoulder blades, like literally a gap. They had like winging shoulders, and it had nothing to do with like posture problems or anything. He doesn't have the muscle. So I look at people's like physiques. It's like how much muscle do you have that's not there on certain parts of your body, right? So 100%. It's just like again, when it comes to being that old, young, time is kind of against us. So we have to train smarter, a little harder in terms of like intensity wise. We don't have to train heavy and crazy, but just like hard exhaustion. Like we have to train with like a lot of intensity and intelligence. And you can 100% gain muscle because I've been coaching. I think the majority of my clients are like their 40s plus and making muscle. They make muscle. They make muscle with it.
Are triceps an important component to a workout program?
Triceps, no. Triceps are great. I think triceps are awesome. You want to add a little intensity in there. My question, I used to do them. Like trust me, I used to do triceps. When I was doing Neil Hill's Y3T training, he had in his last week he had a ton of like monster sets. Trisets. So, you know, and that was there for a reason, just like really just getting a ton of volume and just gassing you out. It was just another stimulus in like the week after you end up going back to like week one, which was, you know, 3 second negatives, you know, 8 to 12 reps, yada, yada. So if it has a reason for it, if you're doing it and it has purpose and intention, go ahead. Also like how much you actually need to do them. You know, so like don't do like every exercise. You have doing like, you know, you have a tricep of 4 exercises. And guys, check out the hit the link in the description below. My new Johnny Shoe Fitness is available. So I'll be coaching. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but check the video out. I explain what coaching is like with myself. But all the things I've been asked this today, I handle coaching one-on-one with me. With me, actually me.
Thanks again, Mike, for your tips. I'm going to expedite his question to the top here. I'm heading to the gym for a quick basketball workout, about 30 minutes solo, relatively low intensity, enough to sweat, purely recreational. I like lifting afterwards. Any general tips for like lifting after he's doing a basketball workout?
I would say just be like, make sure you're fueled a bit after, because like, you know, that's a lot of running. Are you going full court? If you're doing full court, it's a run and a half. So I would say, if anything, make sure you have some carbs and stuff after, in between, so you can actually have something to fuel yourself when you're training. You don't want to put yourself in like, you know, at risk of injury, being exhausted. So I would say do that workout, keep the workout intensity high, but like I would keep like the weight, the load a little lower. So more so like gas yourself out. And depending on the exercise you're doing, I would assume you're probably gonna do shoulders maybe. What's he doing?
Mike, what are you doing for your exercises? Like what?
Regardless, milk the stretch, keep the tempo, like a good controlled tempo, you know. And I would say, like, again, like you don't go increasingly heavy. I would say grab a good weight that's gonna exhaust the muscle, work the good full range of motion.
Normally full body.
Full body, yeah. So I would say like, yeah, just work yourself a really good pace of like full range of motion, pushing low. I would say keep the reps. Now, if you want, I would say you could keep the reps a little lower. If you're gonna keep the reps a little low, increase your tempo. If the reps are pretty high, speed your tempo up. but just make sure you're, you know, controlling everything and fuel before you go for sure.
All right, that is our time. We'll see if we can bang out a couple more. Should I stop prioritizing building muscle if I have a lower back injury?
So, what?
Should I stop prioritizing building muscle if I have a lower back injury?
If it's preventing you from, if you can't train because of your lower back, yeah, I would make sure you just keep taking time to recover. But you can definitely still build muscle, and you can definitely still get stronger. And I would recommend doing that if you had a back injury. But again, if it's affecting you working out, rest.
No problem, Mike, and thank you. All right.
Cool, guys. Appreciate you guys. We'll be back at it next week again. And that's it. So thanks for stopping by. And until next time, guys. No, it is actually, guys, make sure you guys go to my site right now, johnashivefitness.com, or check out my last video. It'll give you everything you need to know about coaching with myself. So let me know. Anyway, until next time, guys, you know it is iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.